Hi guys, welcome to Techie Ocean. In this tutorial, we'll see what is the significance or the exact use of ng container. So let's begin. So this is Visual Studio Code. We have a very simple example. This is the app.component.html in which we are trying to bind a div using ng for loop. And we are just looping through the list of some data. This is an array of type this class, and we have some hard-coded data inside it. This is the class. So we are just binding this array to this div. This is the output. So here, if I want to check that list of some data is empty or null, then we should not render this div. And if I try to write ng if here, it will throw me an error. Now you can see here, nothing is rendered here. This happened because in Angular we cannot have multiple binding to an element. So here we are trying to bind ng for loop also and ng if loop also. So this is not possible to bind two. So for this we will have to create an external div. And here in this external div I have to use ng if. I will just give an ID to this div outer for better understanding. Okay. Now you can see here that the div is rendered, but here you can see we have our data, but this is an extra div which we have to use. Now our aim is to delete or to remove these redundant controls which are of no use. Now this is the place where ng container comes into picture. I will just write ng container. I will just copy paste this here, our whole div, and instead of writing here, I will just give if else condition here in the ng container. Now you can clearly see the difference between these two divs. Now you can clearly avoid this div, this external div, by using ng container. Let's see how. In the ng container we are just writing if list of some data, then only render this internal div. So you can see the div here. Now you can see here that this old div which is having the external div, the data is inside, and this is our new div using ng container. Now you can see here that there is no external div, there is no redundant element here which we can easily remove using ng container. There is no need of using external div like we did here. So in this way we can just remove the redundant elements here. Now one more problem here is that using this external divs is that we break the standards, we break the HTML standards due to this. Now let's see this small example. Here you have ul li. Now here also I am using external div. The reason for this is, for using for loop I have to use this div because I cannot use it in the li, because if I use it in li I cannot put this condition. As you know, we cannot use multiple binding in the controls. So only for this reason I have to use this external div. Now the problem here you will see in this rendered HTML. Now you can see here in this HTML which has been rendered, So you can see here that after UL, as per the HTML standard, after UL there should be directly li, but here only because we have used the external div, this div is also displaying here, same here, same here, and same here. So this is not the valid HTML standard. So in order to directly have a structured HTML, that is after UL there should be directly li, and we have to remove this div. So for this purpose also, we can eliminate this external div using ng container. So you can see here first example and second example. Here also I am using same thing, but instead of using div, I am using ng container here, and I am applying the ng for loop here. And now if I render this, you can see here, now if I render this, there are no extra elements which are rendered. After UL there is directly li. This is valid structure of HTML. So this cannot happen with the previous example because that external unnecessary div was been rendered. This was only for using this for loop, as we cannot use multiple binding. So thus, using ng container, we can remove the redundant elements, and also we can apply proper valid structures or the proper valid HTML standards using ng container. So that's it guys. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe, like or share.